And I commend China for steering the G20 summit this year in such a successful way, leading the G20 towards an action agenda that will come in full support of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and Paris Agreement on climate change. China's leadership steered the debate to facilitate the G20 to move from a short-term financial crisis management to a long-term development perspective. The theme of the G20 summit in Hangzhou towards an innovative, invigorated, interconnected, and inclusive world economy reflects the very spirit of the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda. And I deeply appreciate to see on my last G20 summit as the Secretary General of the United Nations that we work together with the common aim. I also want to commend China for inviting many developing countries, heads of state and government, including the chairmanship of G77 and China, African Union, ASEAN, to join our discussions and to take the G20 to another level of inclusiveness. We need to really address how we can manage the current global economic difficulties. I hope that G20 leaders will really address these global governance issues. United Nations will be fully joining. China has been showing the leadership and leading by example. I sincerely hope that China will show great leadership this time. What I am most grateful as a Secretary General is that for the first time in the history of G20, the Chinese leadership is taking and aligning the action agenda on sustainable development goals and also climate change in the action agenda of G20. This summit also represents a great opportunity for G20 leaders and others to show leadership in accelerating quick ratification process of Paris Agreement on climate change. We are working very hard, first of all, to make sure that this climate change enters into effect by the end of this year. I'm very much grateful that Chinese leadership, President Xi, has already declared their strong commitment that China will ratify on the occasion of G20. That is very encouraging news. I hope many countries, particularly those G20 countries, will emulate, follow the suit of Chinese leadership.